Good day today, beautiful people. It's the 6th of June. I am, of course, Liberlander Yoshi Livo. And like always, I'm streaming 20 miles out of Liberland soil. This is the second conversation with Teun van Sambeek. We spoke with each other 1 week ago. And this is the follow-up. We have been working hard last week. I now have the OneCoin wallet on my phone. As you can see right here. It's not a very spectacular phone, which makes me very happy, because if my non-spectacular phone can run the app, then I believe a lot more phones should be eligible to do so. So that's positive. Teun, how have you been?
Yeah, quite busy.
Okay.
It was but a good experience and quite some response of the last podcast, so that was also good.
Great.
So,
I wanted to ask, do you have more Telegram groups with OneCoin, and have you been promoting your protocol in other groups than the one where I found it in the podcast group, or how are you distributing your ID?
I have, I'm in a few other, let's say, apps, or how you call it, Telegram groups of others. So I promoted there, but I also have like three sort of parallel groups. It's called vrijwillig of vrijwillig. It's also in German, and voluntary, which is in the English, which also has to do with the, let's say, how I think. Let's say we touched it last time a little bit. So money should, in the end, money should not really exist. To me, a coin should be something like a as something that you just give to somebody if you let's say like the things that he did or the product that he gave you. More than that, let's say the society where everything is bogged down into contracts and IP rights and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's. I think when we change society, we should try to leave that all those things behind, like copyrights. Copyrights, I think, is also a very bad idea.
I've got a lot of trouble with copyrights because every time I play songs on the stream, I get in trouble. Well, It depends, because we got our own created songs here. We have one artist, and he makes a lot of good songs that are not on copyright. So thank you, Jan Mark, for all the great songs you make.
But I think that is how it should be, and I think. When internet started, when let's say software was free, because before everything software was free, and when Microsoft started to, I think when Windows came, then the copyright stuff just sort of came in and became worse and worse and worse, and now it's terrible.
It's terrible. I always call it copy wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So. And that's why I also created this voluntary Telegram group to see how you could, let's say, sort of transform society that way a little bit. So I talk about Linux, how to install it, open source stuff, among other things.
It's definitely a step that we need to work towards, because in the end, if we keep on using Windows, one of the things that a lot of people don't seem to connect is that all these governments that are currently following the Bill Gates sponsored WHO guidelines on COVID all run a Microsoft operating system on their computer. And about
but I also okay.
Yeah, that's some conflict of interest that you already get right there, because then Bill Gates will say, oh, you know what, tomorrow your computers don't work, for example. So yeah, it would.
No, but you see it especially in the schooling system. For example, my kids, they are on all kind of let's say homeschooling devices of Google, of Microsoft, which is insane.
Yeah.
So because they some companies now, some US companies have full control of what these kids do and how they discuss among each other in the evening, and it's all monitored by some people in the United States.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It's really insane.
It's ridiculous. I completely agree. And I think that just like people need to develop their knowledge of money, in a way, they need to develop their knowledge of computers also. And you made me realize that once again when we were working on getting this app installed on my phone, because in the end it's not a terribly difficult process. It's just that I'm not used to doing such a thing, and then I'm completely in the dark because I never did it before. So I felt like a slave of the state that got introduced to a Bitcoin wallet in a way, because it was all new and I didn't feel comfortable in doing things like that. But I managed in the end, and I got it running now. I have, let's have a look.
How many coins do you have now?
I have 24 more than yesterday, I think, but a little bit less, of course, a little bit less.
A little bit less, that's right.
Let's see.
Learning.
I've currently created 3,755 coins. You cannot see it because of my green screen settings, but out of those 3,755, I burned. Oh, it doesn't say. Where can I see?
On top you see the coins that you created.
Oh yeah.
And then below you see how much you have available.
Yeah, exactly. So in that way, I burned about 200 coins. Around 200 coins. We got a new follower. Give me a second to welcome them.
That's the depreciation of the coin that you got in your wallet. In this first half year.
1 second, Teun, because we got a song in between, because we got a new follower. Welcome to, let me find the name, Sherry Lee, XCBCH Forever. Welcome, Sherry Lee. We are talking with Teun about his new proposal called OneCoinAge. Let me share the OneCoinAge.org website. At the moment, there is no raffle running. But at the end of this conversation, we will have more honk tokens to give away. Sorry for that, Teun. That's my. If somebody follows, you hear a little jingle, and that goes over all the text that you were saying. So maybe you could repeat your last couple words.
Yeah. My thoughts were already gone somewhere else.
I think it was about appreciation factor. So in this year, I created 3,700 coins, and every hour a couple of coins get burned also, and that means that I got 200 coins less to spend. So
I think I got it. I got it somewhere here. The factor. Let me see. It's. Why do I got it? It should be here somewhere. Sorry.
Well, it's about 40% per year, right?
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah. Here I got the sign. So it's 0.9999417. So 4 nines. And then 417. And that is the depreciation per hour.
Yeah, well, that's that's what remains per hour.
That's what remains. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So and if you compound that throughout the year, then in the end of the year means that all these coins have depreciated with about 40%, which is quite a lot.
It's a lot, yes. Well, inflation is catching up, though. Eh?
Yeah. But you get, of course, you get one coin added. So the coins you have in your wallet is going to expand, and that takes about 20 years, and after 20 years, it becomes constant.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how it works.
Yeah, well, Teun, I have a couple things to say about the project. I don't know if you have more things to share with me about progress you made or things that you really want to announce, but I got some feedback also.
Yeah. No, so I'm just trying to get this, let's say, the program working to be able to start testing with some people, which we are doing now, and I think we need, let's say, 1 or 2 months of testing, and I'm also looking for some programmers because, especially connecting the phones to each other, it will be a major topic, and we also discussed it last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that these two phones, the person that sells something or let's say donates the coins, sends the coin to another person, that these are just files, and so when you don't have a connection, when you didn't create a connection, you need to transfer these files, which is quite annoying and time consuming. So I'm looking for some programmers then that can use, let's say, or that can program that part so that the files automatically go back and forth, which saves you a lot of time, because then it just will feel like a normal wallet app that you have on your phone. You just pay, and the other one said, okay, I accept it, and so then you have a very fast back and forth. And now it's a bit, but we're still in the testing phase. So I sort of accept it, because now what the goal of this testing is that I want to show to several people that this is sort of a possibility how you can work, and when people see how it works, then it sort of lands in their mind. Then they start understanding what it means when you get coins every hour, when it's depreciating, when you, let's say, accept coins from another person, and that you can also accept or refuse coins that you are not sure of who they belong to or where they came from. So that process is quite new, and the first thing what you want to do is sort of show people how that could work, and once that is sort of settled, then well you can sort of build it out. So and probably we need some let's say 1 or 2 coders to finalize the last technicalities, and then you can also make it multi-platform. You need to make it you can also do it on the internet or off the internet, on a website or off a website. So there are a lot of variations that you can do, but the first goal is to make it work like this, because in the end I think it should work, and I always, because I'm in Africa, I always envision some market here where in Africa where they don't have internet, or where the people can't afford to do the subscription on the internet, but who almost all have a smartphone, and where they just go to let's say a shop, use the smartphone to pay directly to another person.
Yep.
And let's say so the bar is very low. So these let's say these old crappy smartphones should be able to run this.
Yeah. Well, mine does.
Because if yeah, so that's good, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm very happy that it does.
I'm really intrigued by the idea of you to cut out the internet, because in the end that's the biggest vulnerability that you cannot control. So I think it's a great idea, really. I like. I've been reading into it, and I like what I see. So that's great in a way. Yeah. And now the only thing is,
and it's not. It's not a new idea. So I stumbled on this because of Cortal. Cortal is to me very close to what, let's say, is sort of a let's call it unconditional basic income, but I really don't like the term. But it's so where you get coins for just Cortal. With Cortal, it is you need to be online, which is a bit strange. But you need to be online. When you're online, you get coins every so much hours. It is called minting instead of mining, and which was very nice. And it also has a system where you vouch for other people. So you're sure that only one person gets one stream of these coins. And this group, this Quartal, Qortal, they already said that in their development, in a few years, probably 2 or 3 years, they will start working on a mesh network. And a mesh network means that you don't use your internet providers, but you connect your devices straight to each other, but in a way that you also create a sort of an international internet around the world without providers. But that is a long stretch, because that means that you so that these devices, my phone needs to be connected to another person's phone, and ultimately everybody needs to connect to everybody. And there are just too little devices now around, especially in Africa. I think in the Netherlands it's probably a bit easier to get there, but in Africa you have too many, just like say small villages that are just way miles away from other villages. So to connect those is not, without internet providers, is quite difficult.
Yeah.
So, but I was, when I started reading into why they wanted that, then it became clear to me, that because that's the only way to go. Because the people that are in control of the internet providers, they will block you. And so whatever you will do, if you don't use the CBDCs, they will block you, and they will find a way to block you. So that will be a fight, and that will be a hard fight, because you have to work against the people that. Well, if you're depending on the internet, you need to pay to get on the internet. They will find some hoops where you need to jump to. So a digital ID to get on the internet is one of these hoops. And when they succeed doing something like that, it will be really difficult to get an alternative out there, other than when you have a mesh network.
Yeah.
So these are sort of the issues, and of course with encryption, and we have the Pirate Bay, and so with encryption you can do a lot, but it will be a tough fight, I guess, and especially if you, because I believe that the RSA keys, let's say the RSA encryption method is breached, so they have backdoors in there, and when so it makes a lot of sense. So for me, it's like, why would there be institutions like that let's say force you to use a certain type of encryption? That, to me, it doesn't make sense, because why would the government force me to use one particular type of encryption? Yes, because to keep you safe. I am perfectly able, when I'm a mathematician, I'm perfectly able to find an encryption way which I can, let's say, check to be safe. I don't need the government to tell me which kind of encryption I need to use. And that to me is like, already it's the same like the vaccines, where the vaccine companies are not liable for any damages. That's just when something like that is there, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Because, and that's the same with encryption, and so there's no need for a government to say you need to use this type of encryption. And the other reason why I think it's probably breached is when you understand encryption, a 64 hash can't be broken. So you need all the computers in the world for about 10 billion years to use all that power to just break one key. So that's sort of what you need to break a key. And if there's some murder in the United States, and the government says, okay, Apple, you need to open this iPhone, just go around the keys and see what this murderer did just before he killed that person, and it happens, then you know there's a backdoor. There's no way.
There was a case like that a couple years ago, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Where there was
and it was
based on terrorism. They based it on terrorism, and they needed the key of some iPhone user.
Something like that.
But did they in the end?
Apple said no, we can't do that because we want to protect our customers and blah 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 blah. But in the end, they did.
They did.
So they cracked it. So and to me that's okay. So if you're able to crack it, so then there's a backdoor. And there are some. If you go online, you can find some mathematicians explain how that works. It is. They have some sort of curve, and it's a technical story. But when you know, let's say the shape of that curve, you avoid, let's say, about billions of cycles to crack that code. You still need to do some work, but you can crack it much easier. So that's sort of what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I have a financial background, and when I first used Bitcoin, for me it was all about having a asset instead of a debt. And along the way, of course, you find out that the transparency also works against you in a way. And for example, Bitcoin today isn't real money in a way because it's not fungible and it's not the same token. And you can trace back these tokens to every address where they have been. And at some point, some government might say, we have noticed that this address is linked to terrorism. And from now on, these coins should not be accepted by all the businesses that have a license with our government. And all of a sudden, you have to check your coins on which address they were before, because maybe you have tainted coins and they will not be accepted. That's why I'm very excited about the Mimblewimble upgrade in Litecoin. And always a strong one that I like to mention is Monero. The privacy coins, which don't allow you to trace exactly where your coin have been. Exactly. And that's a big step.
For me. Yeah, that's a big step. But if there's a backdoor, there's a backdoor.
Yeah, okay. But if you are not sharing that information, then it's a little bit more difficult to see the door before you can go through, So with Bitcoin, it's more flawed than with these privacy coins, let's say it like this. That doesn't leave out of account that I do believe coins like a Bitcoin and, Monero also, but to a lesser extent, but they have the power to wake up the people that simply want to say that I'm a clown because I'm wearing a wig. For let's put it a little bit. Let's make it a little bit more concrete. There is a lot of people that do not want to believe these jabs could be something toxic, or that do not want to believe that their money system is broken, and they need evidence before they open themselves towards a different reality. Let's call it like that, because without the will to learn, it's impossible to learn. We have seen a couple of those people in your Telegram chat. I have seen a lot of them over the years, and the people are just not willing to accept a different reality than what's in their mind. And the beautiful thing about something like Bitcoin is that the mainstream media always mentions it when Bitcoin goes down, but still the price is rising all the time. So with evidence like that, you might be able to change people's opinions, and that's a little bit what OneCoin age, because of the lack of ability in a way to trust everybody without seeing them. You need big part of the security feature is the fact that you know who you are trading with in your system, and you know your payment partner, and you don't have to know that with Bitcoin. But this makes it a little bit difficult for a OneCoin age to make that impression onto people, because they don't have the evidence that it's working. You know what I'm trying to...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely. That is also, it's the biggest challenge. It's the biggest challenge.
That's the challenge basically that I've set myself. That's why I'm so stupid to show my face all the time, because somebody needs to speak out. The best way for Bitcoins to participate with Bitcoin is to hold them and don't tell anybody that you have them.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
if the people would do that, then nobody would know about it in a way. So
these are the funny paradoxes that you live in.
Yeah, it's the chicken and egg, and somebody needs to break the egg in a way. So I've always said, like, I understand this stuff in to a level where I think I'm able to explain that to people. It was mostly about how unfair the money system is. But if you want to explain that, things like a Liberland and the EFL can help you with that, and the Bitcoin. The reason that I chose EFL is because it's a very complicated story, and I would like to be able to explain it in Dutch also, because you can be more detailed in your native language, kind of. So it's a difficult story that for the last 10 years nobody has really been willing to listen to from my side. And if I would push it a little bit too hard, I always give my time and energy and money to people that I believe are doing the right thing and are looking into the right direction. But then at some point I tell them what my goals are, and that's usually when it breaks. And that's why I became persona non grata in so many places and locations. And so that's why this time I wanted to do it a little bit different. What I believe is OneCoin needs is first of all somebody to actively go out and speak to people about using it. It needs to have a good location where it can be tried, and it needs to create some incentive for people to know that so they can start to trust what they hold, and they know at least with these coins, if I accept them for, installing a wallet is the first place, but then to get these coins into circulation, people need to have some kind of a benchmark where they know, if I hold so many coins, I can get something that I can use everywhere, basically.
Yeah, but what I think what is interesting is what I saw with circles. So I talked a little bit about circles last week. Circles, there's some people, I think there's now 6 or 7 small businesses that just make a let's say a price list of items they sell using circles, and just put prices in there, and that to me is like, it's on one side it's amazing because you just get coins for free. It's also a universe, and then some people say, okay, we're gonna bring products and put a price to it, and that is something that is, I think, very hard to believe for most people that can happen. Mm-hmm. But that's why you have these exchanges with Bitcoin. And once Bitcoin got on an exchange, which to me is the biggest mystery of Bitcoin, actually. So who put it on an exchange? Who was that?
It's a dark story, because the owner of Mt. Gox, who was in front of a judge for the catastrophe that happened there doesn't have to be, well, he was the initial guy listing it there, but it doesn't have to be per se the admin of the website, because at some point some strange things happen. It's a very deep story, but yeah, I believe Mt. Gox was the first one to list it. And
but how do you do that? You know? So
well, you create a bank account.
Who determines? Huh?
You create a bank account for people to deposit money. He was already planning on some kind of a marketplace. Yeah. So, yeah. He just...
But at one point, a government, let's say the U.S. government says, okay, we allow this. And that's for me is very strange. It's very strange that happened. So that's also a big red flag.
Yeah, but that is explainable in this way, that they simply don't understand what they approve. So you just sell digital goods, right? And there are plenty of government companies that sell. These days you have these game boxes in game or of FIFA car players. And you spend $5 and you get an extra player in the FIFA game. So I really think at the start of Bitcoin, no bank understood what it was, but they were saying yes to, in a way. And once they did...
That is still strange. You know, a bank usually says no to something that they don't understand, and not yes. So at a certain moment, somebody said yes, and that is to me a big red flag. And from that point, let's say the entire crypto space could evolve, because if they wouldn't, then there could be some sort of let's say I understand that assets in games, that you pay for assets in games. You don't need crypto for that to get a Pokemon with superpowers. Yeah, kids will pay for that. So that's something different. But to say, okay, this is now money, so which is not something like an asset in a game, but it's like the intention of it is to sort of replace the real money, which is also fake stuff. It's still strange, and it's a bit like, for me it's like when the internet came, everybody said, oh, internet, that's great, but the internet is also created by the CIA. These things don't happen just
well, but
like, wow, cool.
Then in your own thought process, Teun, wouldn't they want it to be listed on an exchange so they can use their fake money to manipulate it?
Yes, I think there's they knew that something like that could evolve, and I think they were afraid that somebody would start a community somewhere, let's say in Africa or in China or in Japan or whatever.
In Liberland.
In Liberland, especially in Liberland, where they didn't care about money and just started to use their own money. I think they were afraid of that. Yeah. And they knew that with encryption, so because it's once you understand encryption and hashing, these two things, you let's say you don't need to be a rocket scientist to combine these things. Okay, that's a nice thing to make a sort of we have a device, and with this device we can exchange, because in the end it's ledgers, so it's just a ledger, and I in the last talk I also talked about Harlem. I think that what these plastic coins that people use. It's very easy for small communities to create a money system, and they will very quickly see the advantages. People don't understand that, but once you have a sort of a close community that uses their own money, your economy will just take off like crazy, because there's nobody to collect taxes, there's nobody to collect interest, so all the value that you create with each other stays among each other. So it makes a lot of sense to do that. And governments don't want that, so that's why they don't want you to use your own money. And when they saw, let's say, the hashing and encryption, then they said, oh, this could be something that people will take, because they already saw the pirate base and these kind of things. So I think they really were afraid of this technology, and then just thought, okay, let's don't if you can't beat them, join them, or be on top of them, and it's the same with internet. So the CIA knew that okay, we can't keep this secret. We come to copyright again. We can't keep this technology shielded. But the nice thing about technology is when somebody looks at something and say, okay, what are they doing? Or can imagine sort of what they are doing. When you can imagine it, you can recreate it. Perhaps not exactly the same, but you will recreate it.
Yeah.
If you know it's possible, somebody will recreate it. And I think that's why they just released the internet. They say, okay, we can't control it. People saw it and they want it. So let's give it to them so we can keep control on all the traffic that's going on there. So that's what they did, and I think the same happened with cryptocurrencies. They say, okay, this because these people, you need to imagine, these people got all the money in the world. So the best mathematicians are working for these people.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are the advisors to the people that really control, let's say, are the puppet masters.
Yeah.
So they have the best, the most knowledgeable scientists in that space to their disposal, and they can pay them anything, billions.
Yeah.
So
I think
they gameplay this stuff.
I think you're very right on your assessment, and I also believe that, especially, let's say around 2017, more than half. Let's say that I think that half of everybody involved in crypto actually wanted to destroy it more than build it, you know. And you still see a lot of those haters and they just join groups to break the atmosphere and tell everybody they are crazy and try to create some negativity, you know. And that's unfortunately the kind of business that it is. It's in a way very clean business without violence until you start to speak out about it and want to have a discussion, because they try to flood the discussion with bullshit and emotions and well, like I was trying to build towards an idea that I had. I tried to tell you that, or I have told you over the past week, that at the beginning of this year, Willem Engel was in my show, and I set up some plan to give away 1 million EFLs. I made a video for Willem to become a friend of EFL, and he told me, I will definitely send out a tweet for you, Yoshi. Unfortunately, it never happened. But I did make around, I think it was 63 days in a row where I streamed at a fixed time in Dutch, because I believe that the Netherlands is a very special country in the world. Although it's very small, the power reaches a lot wider than you would expect from the size. And the Dutch people are amongst one of the most brainwashed on the planet. I really didn't expect it to be so bad when I started all this, because I would probably have done something else. But you cannot turn back time. But in the past 10 years, I made a little bit of a story, and the narrative is that I'm Yoshi Livo from Liberland. I live on crypto money, and with that story, I did make it sometimes to some videos and newspapers and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't have enough impact to really make the difference. And because I didn't give away 1 million EFLs to Willem Engel, I thought it would be a good idea to pledge like 250,000 EFLs to a OneCoinH project, because I can see, or I like it, let's just keep it like that, I don't have to explain why. There is 50,000 people living in the village where I'm living, and if I exchange the OneCoinH coins at a fixed rate of 1,000 per EFL, then it will cost me approximately 333,000 EFLs after 1 year if everybody redeems their freshly minted OneCoinH coins for EFLs all the time. And everybody does that here. So it's a very far from that reality because of course you would need to first of all help people install their wallet and make them start to accept it as money. But I did make a couple connections with local politics, so I do have like a network-ish kind of something going on. It's not the political party of the president, but it's an opposition party that is against globalism and wants to. I can send you the website, but it's in Serbian language, but you can translate. I like their vision about the world. The beautiful thing about the location where I'm at is that the economy is very local already, because this place was bombed by NATO about 30 years ago, after which they got sanctioned and everything imploded, everybody went bankrupt, and from that point on they started something new, which now results in a very real economy without paper bullshit being sold, but it's farmers and people fishing and building houses and stuff like that. And the people don't travel a lot because they still are not so very wealthy. So it's a very strong community here, and you cannot just throw up in the cafe every weekend, because the third weekend everybody knows it and they tell you go home, and something like that. It didn't happen to me. I never threw up in the cafes here. No, really. No, but you cannot just create bullshit and expect to pay for it, because it's not about the money, it's about your reputation. And family values are very important here. I also like that I haven't seen any pregnant men, but that's a completely different discussion. But so now here it comes. I've always offered everything that I did basically for nothing. But since Willem Engel didn't respond to what I did, I became a little bit pissed off at everything, and I was like, what am I doing? In 10 years' time, I could have bought my own island by now if I would have only invested my money in myself and not give it away all the time. So
actually, it's quite funny, because I also did some stuff with Willem Engel.
Yes. You had better experience though.
Yes. No, not really.
Oh,
actually.
really? Oh.
So I can shake your hand.
Yeah.
So when he was in, let me tell you, so otherwise we'll forget about it. But when he was in prison, he was in prison. So he wanted to speak out. He wanted to tell his story when he was in prison, but he couldn't be on camera.
Oh yeah.
So they needed some animations of him speaking from prison.
I've seen them.
So so I made
you
them.
made the animations with the Daltons.
I made
with
the
Dalton suit.
With the Dalton, exactly.
Yeah, I saw them. I follow it. I follow what he's doing, because it's an important task that he took upon him, and I understand in a way that he doesn't want to touch something like EFL because it's too hot for him, and he is fighting AI and bullshit. But there is always a reason why not to do it. That's the thing. You can always find a reason why not to do it, and in the end, you need people that just say yes and say, okay, I will go with it, because we help each other, and that way we both get better. But people are.
But so let me finish the story. Sure. So I did these things, and I worked like a few weeks on those things. These animations take a lot of time. You want to do it a bit proper and with the sound, and I need to do the mouse and whatever. So and it took me quite. And I said I did it voluntarily, because I thought it was quite bad that they put him in prison. It's ridiculous. So and if I could help him, let's say, to him to speak out about it, then okay, that would be great. So that's why I did it. but it took me quite some, let's say, some talking to get him just to send me a thank you message, which was a bit like, well, you know, I don't want to, let's say, to drag a thank you out of somebody, but this was a case that I sort of needed to drag it out of him, which I thought was not very. He thanked me, so in the end, it's sort of fine. But yeah, it would be good if you just, let's say, if you just pick up the phone and spoke. It's nice that you did that,
Or
or
just
whatever.
send an email from the name of his foundation, you know. Doesn't even.
Yeah, but so he sent me, in the end, he sent me a message through WhatsApp, so that's okay. But I think yeah, I don't know exactly why that is. Um, but I like what they're doing. I'm following them very closely. I think it's very good for also the weekly the weekly message. Let's say the weekly journal
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have.
yeah.
It's quite good. Give you a quite good sense of what's going on. I don't think that he's right in all things. So, but
Yeah, I know you. I know the
but that's
story.
okay.
I have also
Yeah.
played Brecht Arnaert on this stream. So
Yeah.
some people, or let's just say, there is still a $1 million bounty on proving that COVID
Yeah.
exists,
Yeah.
right? So as long as nobody
Yeah.
proves that it exists, it's just a computer code.
Yeah. So what my issue is not, somebody can have a belief like this or a belief like that. That's fine, but at least be open to it and discuss it once. But just to avoid it or ignore it is just not
Yeah.
good. And that I don't understand. So and that's what he's ignoring this other idea that there could be it could be true that viruses don't really exist. And I think if you are, let's say, the front man of somebody who's talking, who has let's say
Exactly.
a company, this is the company,
Let's go.
an initiative that's called Virus Truth, and you don't touch the subject of if viruses exist, well, I think that's not
Yeah.
good.
Well, and the same goes here because I do believe that my streams had an impact because all the people that I wrote did read. I believe that, although they didn't reply to any of what I wrote, but I did see a change in the narrative of many streams and shows happening. And unfortunately, that now has led to them all adopting Florijn and the United People Foundation, which is, yeah, it's just the same old bullshit, but just with different puppets. It's a board of directors deciding whether you can have an account or not, and how much you are allowed to borrow or not, and at which rate. Okay, the rate is set at 0%, but if I decide to make my own ecstasy pills and sell them for their money, then they are gonna confiscate my money, and it shouldn't be up to the people to confiscate money, you know. So
Exactly.
that's my big issue with those initiatives, and it's such a difficult topic, money, and then they all put the people in the wrong direction because they are all gonna create more debt with a board of directors, and I get frustrated from that, and then I think I wish somebody would just prove me my point. And you want to say?
Well, I had the same issue today, actually. So I told you I'm following this Circles initiative, this unconditional basic income stuff, and last week the first thing I said, well, the depreciation, they do it wrong because they increased the money supply instead of decreasing it. So and suddenly within after let's say within a few days, 2 or 3 days after I told some people this, I heard that they're going to change it. So now they're going to depreciate it, and instead of 240 coins a month, they're now also going to 1 coin per hour. So that's quite nice. So it's almost mimicking what I'm doing. But today it seems that this Circles has a server problem because they run their system on a website, which is to me also already like, whoa,
Yeah.
it's a big
Yes.
no-no. Yeah, so it's very centralized. And that shouldn't be. Perhaps they can run it in a blockchain because it is a sort of a blockchain that they're running. So it could be that they are planning to get some wallets out there so that you can use it in a decentralized way. But they have issues with their server, and it was not reachable. So nobody could reach the money, and nobody could enter. So and then I told some people in the group that I'm in. So I said, yeah, now you can see what the issue is with a centralized alternative system. This shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
This is just what you want to avoid. If you want to build something new, you should build something else. So that's what I told. And then they said, oh yeah, but um, at least it's something like that. So that was the response I get. And but I said, no, you need to have a fundamental discussion how you're going to solve this, what a system, let's say an alternative system, should look like. And I've been telling several people this for months now. I said, I want to have a fundamental discussion first. If you say Bitcoin is the solution, if you say Monero is the solution, if you say Circle is the solution, or Quartal is the solution, let's have a fundamental discussion what the issues are. And what you see is that the people that are, let's say, proponents of a certain coin or of a certain idea, they don't want that. They don't want to have a fundamental discussion because they know that there will be some topics that they can't answer, which is the encryption problem. It's the internet provider problem. These are real problems, and if you don't want to discuss it, yeah, I think you and that's my point. You lose that a lot of energy will be lost.
Yeah, true.
Because all these people put a lot of effort in things, and then but you already know this is not going to work. In the end, this will fail. But they're so afraid to let go of their sort of solution that they have in their mind so that they don't want to discuss. And that to me is it's the same like Willem Engel that says, well, I don't want to talk about if this virus is real. No, you need to discuss we have listened to bullshit all our lives and just cut it.
Yes.
Just stop with the bullshit. Start talking real stuff and start working on real things. And if you don't want to do that, well, go. Don't waste my time, please.
Well, my addition to that discussion would be that it should be a combination of multiple initiatives, because the real enemy is what we come from. The ultimate goal is the abolishment of money altogether, but we, in the previous talk, we accepted that it wouldn't happen in our lifetime. But how to get to that point? And you need awareness, which is a nice thing for Bitcoin, because of the price aspect of it, and the connection with the old, what old people, because the people are only willing to learn if they have an incentive to do so, if they get triggered by something. And they are working all their lives for government debt. So if somebody is making that government debt with something else, that could trigger their attention. And it should be a combination. I don't know any, like I said, the ultimate goal is to abolish all money, right? But we get a comment in the chat. You look like Kane, which is a participant in the BCH community. Yes, he does actually, Senitsa, but I think Kane is... Well, I don't know. Maybe Kane is maybe a bit younger.
I don't know.
Kane is younger, I think, so it's a compliment.
Probably.
No, but it should be a combination, I think, and you need all kind of different.
Yeah. So and that's yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I also say. We have the same goal. So the goal is the same.
Exactly.
But. Yeah, so but it's probably in every sort of revolution. It's probably the same. You have,
Well, you have a lot of.
Everybody has his.
You have a lot of different competences.
A lot of people have
you have a lot of different competences that you need.
Yeah, that also, but also ego. So everybody wants to be, let's say, the one that steers the entire group to the promised land, sort of. and you need to lose your ego, I think. So just start opening up, start discussing stuff. It's not about you or me or somebody. It's about getting the best solution out there, and find a way how to realize that. And if you're let's say if you're not willing to just talk, because that's and it's the same what happened to you. So people close. So once they know what you're doing, then oh no, that's not exactly what I'm thinking. So okay, I'm not going to discuss it anymore. People are just afraid to discuss. There's so much fear, I think, in the world. Yeah, I don't see any. I have no fear. I want to discuss anything with everybody.
Well,
and what happens, exactly what you said, people will run away in the
yeah,
end
well,
because they
let me go into the fear, because it's something that I wrote about not too long ago, and actually I noticed that I do live in fear in some moments, but that's mostly every time when I bump into all those people saying, Yoshi, what you're doing is just a lot of bullshit, and why don't you start living in reality, you know? So since the 19th of March, which is when the 8th anniversary of EFL was celebrated, and I invited a whole lot of people to participate on the show, and nobody showed up. That broke me a little bit. And since then, show you a couple things. This is what I made. This is from last week. This is it. Look. And I go into nature, and I'm drawing. And
it's green again.
Oh, it's green again. Okay. Maybe like this it works better. Yeah. And that's my way of living out of fear, you know, because if I'm in that situation, in that moment, then there is nothing that makes me afraid in a way. But if you want to speak out, you need to be strong, and you can only be as strong. I always say I'm wearing the crown today. I forgot it last week because I'm King HONKspiritSEE. But yes. A king only has the power that his subordinates give him, or subs in the Twitch terms. Yeah. So without any following, I'll just go and draw and live a very nice, peaceful life. But there is some. I do believe I have something to offer to you know, let's say the planet. I'm not just taking profit on Bitcoin, scalping away other people's fortune. And that is that I have the ability to talk and explain a little bit about what's going on in the world today. I somehow managed to get track of this story, and for me it's well, it can be a lot better, but it's going quite well, you know. Actually, it's going perfect. That's simply how I have to say it.
I think it's very important, you know, to show people there's another.
Yeah, exactly.
there's another way, I live it. You know, because and you live it. It's amazing to me. It's amazing that people do that. I also sort of do it, half.
Well,
I'm still with one foot sort of in the 1 foot. That foot is quite small compared to the foot that's outside of the current system. Yeah. I think. A lot of people do the same thing that I did, but but it's necessary. It is absolutely necessary.
Let me be honest. Last Friday, actually today, is the day that I have another 1 year of visa in Serbia. I'm located in Serbia, which is near Liberland. And that's a Dutch passport, of course, that gets stamped, you know. So and to have that stamp, my business is registered on that passport, and that business does have a bank account, and that bank account is active since I need that visa. So although on my name there is no bank account, my business needs a bank account, and I need to make you know, I have to accept that also I cannot live completely outside of the system today in a way, but it's getting it's getting there more and more. And Well, I don't feel like I'm lying if I say that I live without a bank account, because I never use that bank account anyway. It's always a lot of trouble getting the government debt on the bank account so I can pay the bills.
Yeah.
But basically, I would like to make you an offer. Let me go that way, because I really enjoy my drawing, and I was actually perfectly capable. Of course, I still have some. What do you say when you are in rehab? You know, sometimes you fall back into bad old habits. So that's how I came across your story, Teun. And here I go again. I really enjoy it though, so don't worry about any. I'm really glad that we spoke and everything, but I kind of cut back on everything I do, and in order for me to go ahead, I would want to invite you to start to participate in EFL a little bit more, because I believe that the story that I hold will blow up as soon as EFL hits €1, because that psychological border is what basically any Bitcoin lover that I spoke in the last 10 years that called me crazy for believing that EFL is the Bitcoin of the Netherlands, they have all said that EFL would never reach €1. So whatever is being said by all those people with a lot of knowledge, as soon as we hit €1, they can throw out all their previous thoughts and have and reconsider what they said before. Because in the end, people create value, and doesn't matter what we use as money. If we see it as money, it will get value, and that can happen with everything. Of course, one product or good is better than the other.
You have this island where they have these stones with holes in it, that use as money. So
and the stone
everything can be money.
And the stone once sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and it didn't matter because it was just that's now our ledger is now very well secured because it's on the bottom of the ocean. So, you know, the limitation of the people that, oh no, it cannot happen because whatever reason they want to think of, if all those people would just have said, okay, I'm going to give it a shot, we would have been so much further down the road. But, that's a little bit... I have a lot of time.
That's for any initiative, you know, that's for any initiative. If everybody does it, then
the same with taxes.
There, you know, If
everybody says tomorrow we stop paying taxes, the government has a problem, you know. But they are stuck in old habits, and I'm not blaming people for the past. Everybody has its own backpack, and you cannot change what happened. But at some point, you know, for example,
but that's why it's so important. So they need people like you and also like me, I think, to see, okay, it's possible. they can't understand it. People that I know, they have no clue what I'm doing. They have no clue. They think I'm completely crazy.
Yeah.
But
maybe you should also start wearing a clown wig. And then it's easier for them to just dismiss you. That's why I'm basically wearing this wig, so I don't have to. I don't need people in the chat to tell me I'm a clown, because they can just see it, you know. And believe that if they want to believe that, and leave again and let me talk about what I want to talk about. So.
But it's just very important that they have some examples that, and once. That's also the same. As once more people are doing that, then it will go faster and faster and faster. But the first people that are, there's always that's the most difficult. For them, it's really a big step.
Yeah.
So and a lot of people they don't appreciate it now because they say, oh, these people are crazy. But once the system collapsed, then they say, oh yeah.
Yeah, but then it's too late.
Right,
then it's too late. If you don't have your backup by then, then
they will see. Yeah, but it is easy for you because you're already there, you know.
Yeah.
But then it's.
I am here. I have a city of 50,000 people that I'm more than willing to connect to OneCoin H and back the coins with $250,000 EFLs is about €20,000 today, but in order to reach the $1.50 that you predicted, we need EFL at $1,500, which isn't that crazy because Bitcoin is 30,000 today, so why not? But we have to discuss if you want to work with me in that way, or if you want me to work for OneCoinH and connect people and promote it and explain it, and then I need some money to fund it, because I will host some events and I will do some things, and in exchange you will get back the same amount of money but in EFLs, which you could be using for backing OneCoinH also, but that's a little bit of what I thought about, of how I could participate more in a way that I also feel good about it, because I'm set up now with my wallet, so fuck the world, I don't care. I really, since a couple months, I stopped to care, because it makes my life a lot nicer and easier. And at the start of COVID, and my parents are coming again in 1 week, they are coming to visit me, and I haven't spoken to them in a year, and 1 year ago they had to take a jab to get into the airport, and I told them, don't come, because I want to see you again. Yeah, but we want to see you. Yeah, but what if you die from this jab? And these days I don't care anymore. If they want to take the jab, I am not going to create, it's their choice, and I have to accept it, and I'm not willing to go into the discussion any longer, because I'm not getting anything out of it. The people don't want to give me my points, in a way. And when I say it's untested, yeah, but we have to fly to see you, and but it's high inflation. It's high inflation. Yeah, but it's always been like that, or whatever. So I do believe that.
Also, I given up also, and it's very sad, and but you can't win that fight. It's quite easy, and people need to. Well,
you need to find good partners, because alone I cannot win this fight, and that's very true. I have in that way accepted that my moment passed and I didn't take it, and the place where, that wouldn't really have been me alone anyway. It would have been actually very bad people to work with. So I'm very grateful that I didn't get fooled by the moment and create a terrible future for myself, in a way, but with a lot of attention. The story is not over. I'm here for the next year. I have a visa again, and I do think that your idea is worth to spend my time on. But at the same time, summer is coming, and I found a nice new hobby, and I don't need it in my life. So that's why I'm more than willing to work with you, but we need to talk a little bit of detail about how or what or whatever. So
exactly.
That's a little bit what I wanted to give you about, how I think about what's going on here, and give you a little bit of a conclusion, let's say it like that, of how I think I can participate, and this is the offer.
It's great. Thank you very much.
And of course,
I think it's already.
I really learned a lot from you also in the last week, because it's the first time I created an APK for Android. Do I say it in the right text? Yeah. Is that the right jargon? Is that the right word for it?
Sort of, yeah. So it's not an APK yet, but it's yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for correcting me. I don't want to lie. I don't know what I'm talking about, guys.
No, it's not an APK yet. So, but no, you installed this Droid script software, which is quite interesting. Mm-hmm. And I think it's for the moment, for the let's say the current status the software is in, it's fine, but I'm also looking for some people, some coders that helped me with some other details to get it a little bit further and more professional.
Yeah.
But that's other people are also looking out for that, and it's also a matter of time, I believe. I think also that once this is sort of this stage, which can be finished in like a few weeks, when that stage is done, we'll probably be able to find some people that will fund this. That's actually what I think that could happen, and probably should happen. That we can just pay some coders to do the last things that we need to add, and take it from there. Yeah. So it's just I think because we're not very far yet, so it's just starting to work. So people, let's say for myself, let's say 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I did some tests that were for me sort of conclusive. Okay, this can work. So I proved it sort of for myself, but now I need to prove it for other people, that other people can see what it is and how it works, and that you can only do by providing them something that looks like a genuine wallet and operates like a genuine wallet. Then you can see, okay, this is what it means.
Yeah.
And once they see it, then it becomes easier to fund it. You want to have a sort of a proof of concept done before you can take it to the next level, and that once we get to that next level, that is also the moment that you really want to roll it out widely among, let's say, 20,000, 30,000 people. You don't want to do it now. That it's a little bit too early for that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't reach 50,000 people in a week, of course. It will take some time. And, and it's mostly about, but it's mostly about educating. I would be educating others to tell others, because, of course, I don't speak the language fluently here. So I will say it to some in English to some people, and I would need your help also. It's not like I would be able to do it all autonomous in a way. There will be issues that I will not be able to resolve. So
no, there should be. We should make it tutorials and to install how. So all these things that you need to do should be done. And but yeah. So I'm focusing first on getting the main stuff just working. Then I'm going to add some tutorials and installation notes how you're going to install it. First with Droid script, but later like an APK. So once it's possible to make an APK out of it, then we'll do that. And just go step by step. It's just step by step, one step at a time. And at the same time, I would like to people that now can see what it is to start discussing it and talk. What I'm still thinking that is missing is the basic, let's say, a fundamental discussion on what an alternative financial system should look like. And so, and these are basic questions like why would you need an unconditional income stream? Why is that important? And when you look at that, then you can decide, okay, do you need it or don't you need it? And once you come to the conclusion you need it, okay, then you need to start facilitating it instead of, let's say, because for example Bitcoin or Pirate Chain or whatever, Monero, you need money basically, or a very big mining computer, but most people are not capable on getting that.
I go against that statement because you are the money. If you work, you can decide to accept Monero, Bitcoin, Pirate Chain, doesn't matter. And so if I create value, I can ask to be paid in cryptos instead of other money.
Yeah. And but still, somebody needs to. You have two steps. I always say. So there's one step is how you get money in the system, and then once the system is there, how you're gonna use, let's say, create a sort of a capitalistic system where you work and you pay each other. But first, you need to get the money into the system.
But in theory, it doesn't matter. But then two pizzas just cost 10,000 bitcoins. You know, if there is not so much money in the system, you need more bitcoins for your same product.
That is true, but there you, for example, Bitcoin, or let's say Pirate Chain, it's smaller. So there's so almost all coins are sold. So somebody owns all coins. So the money is in the system, and now we can say, okay, now we're going to start a capital. So I'm going to work, but who's going to pay me? That is probably that one guy that holds like 40% of all the coins, because I guess there are a few people that own a massive amount of these Pirate Chain coins. The same as this Mr. Satoshi who has like 1 million bitcoins. So somebody has that. So now this guy is, instead of let's say the Rothschilds, now this guy is the new Rothschild, because he can decide basically anything.
No, but he can only spend those Pirate Chain coins once, instead of the current banking system that creates endless debt.
Yeah, but that amount of money. So when Pirate Chain, so let's say it's the market cap is now, what is it? I thought like, I don't know, $30 million or something like that, whatever, a certain amount. But when that becomes the new money, that means that the price would like 1 million times. So this guy that has like 10 million or 20 million of these coins has now $20 trillion,
which he can only spend once.
Yeah, he can only spend it once. It's the same with he can't produce anymore, but you don't need it. So now you have, let's say, this Rothschilds or the Rockefeller, these people. They are now in a state that they don't need to print any more money. So what they do now, the last money that they print.
No, because as soon as they stop printing this money, they don't have these mathematicians working for them anymore.
No, it doesn't matter. So they already own everything. So the only reason they are printing is to get the last 0.1% of possessions out of this system. So they're just, this is the last push to get everything to them. So, and then they have any, and once they got everything, they don't need money. And so they can create the CDBCs. They can just create a fixed amount, because they own everything. So whatever you do, you need to rent it from them, or to buy it from them, or whatever. So they have you, even if you don't need to pay interest and have this, let's say, this
debt spiral.
Yeah, this debt spiral, this noose on your neck, and just tightening and tightening and tightening. So it's not necessary anymore, because they can survey you anyway. They take away your money if they like. Yeah. So they don't need this interest system, this debt spiral system anymore. That's why they want to replace it, and why they want to crash it. Yeah. They don't need it anymore. It's done. They got what they want. Yeah. So they are one, sort of. So and what happens if you let's say bring in Pirate Chain and you allow one person to already also have, okay, then he has half of all the money, not 99.9%, but half. But still, you know, he can do the same, because okay, we make a new system, we survey everybody, and everybody needs to rent stuff from me. But and you're right, let's say what is remaining, we can still build an economy. If we don't have this interest and we don't have the CDBC, then life will already be lots time better than what it is now, you know. So even with Bitcoin, life would be better if we could achieve that. But I don't think we can achieve that because of other reasons, because they control the internet providers, and then they can break your keys and whatever. So that's another problem. So but that's why I think that a solution like a cryptocurrency is temporarily. I like it. I think and it can even work for. I was thinking about it. So just create this village where you are. You can also say to these people, okay, start using Pirate Chain, only Pirate Chain. and you will see the economy will just skyrocket.
Well, my personal experience is a little bit different. Let's just say it like that. Liberland has its own crypto. Liberland has its own crypto. I'm the guy that pumped it out there. But okay, I don't want to go into that. If you want to buy Liberland money from me, I also got it. What did I? There was a comment I wanted to make, and now I forgot it.
Yeah, you wanted to say that Liberland has also its own Bitcoin, and the economy didn't skyrocket.
No, yeah, exactly. But that's then because it was again centralized in a way, too much centralized. But that wasn't the point I wanted to make. It was about before that, but it slipped my brain. Too bad.
Okay.
Yeah, well, let's see what the summer months will bring to OneCoin Age. If you can find the developers you need to finalize the concept so that sending and receiving coins is a little bit more practical than what it is today, because it is, in case you made the point. Oh, I wanted to say that I like your stance on cryptocurrencies because of you make a couple controversial points, but they are true. The internet is the weakness of cryptocurrency, and I really like how you implement the biometrics of people: color of the eyes, color of the hair, length, gender. Although you only have 3 genders, I would just skip the others completely and leave it at 2. There is no other gender.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I'm just a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, I think if you go for the 3rd one, you should add all 999 others also, and expand every week with new ones. But anyway, no, I really like that security feature, in that your person is the security feature, and you are you, and nobody can change that.
Well,
maybe even add
also,
fingerprint.
It's sort of needed. Yeah, but it's also needed. You need something so that a person can sort of see that you are you. A picture is already enough, and it does need to be a good picture, So if you just look a little bit, okay, this is probably the guy, then, or the girl, then it's fine. And you have a sort of you're tempted. I was tempted to say, okay, let's put your DNA in it, your DNA code, or if you can, but it doesn't make sense, because and the same as the fingerprints, and so I started with that. So fingerprints and this and a lot of, but I just watered it down and more, because it's not so much about proving that you are you, but it is for another person to just sort of, okay, this is the guy, and I recognize this picture, and the next time I do a transaction, I see the same picture again, and I see the same hash, because the hash will decide who you are, and your identification sort of creates your hash, and this hash will return everywhere. So then your picture comes back. And it's just to recognize, and also to separate one person from another person, so that you don't get mixed up.
Does that mean?
So that's
now that you say that, I have a question. Does that mean that if my biometrics change in the app, if I change my biometrics, that my hash will change, and that it will be perceived by others as a new ID? So let's say I put in the app that I have blue eyes, but then I get
sort of a call or a look back function. It has a look back function.
So if you change your identity card in the app,
you broke
then
up a little.
Maybe we got the lag coming back. I will try again. If you change the biometrics in the ID card on the app, your hash will change, but it's still traceable to your previous ID card. Or it's still recognized as the same ID card.
Yeah. So if you look at the ID card closely, So if you look at the ID card closely, you can see 32 squares on the bottom of the card. And what will happen is when you create a new ID card, you get a new hash, because things can happen. So let's say you get married and you take the name of your So you see the squares on the bottom?
Well, maybe not,
Can't
because
really see it.
maybe this
But
screen
on the
was a
bottom
little
of the
bit big.
card you see like 32 squares.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's just below the screen. Yeah, so we need to work on that. But there are, let's say, 32 of these squares on the bottom.
I will send you screenshot
what
of
happens
what I
if you
see.
create a new? So things can happen. You get married. Yeah. So you get married, and then you get a new name. So you get the name of your husband. So you want to change your name. So you can do that. Then you get a new ID card. But in the ID card, in one of these squares, there will be a color code. So you can get like it's like 8 by 8 pixels. So you can put 64 colors in there, which represent your previous hash. So your computer can read using that card. They can see, okay, this is your new photo, your new name, or whatever. But you can still see the hash of your old card. So on this ID card, I can include 32 previous. And you can imagine when you're a baby, and so your parents say, okay, we want to give him 1 coin each, because we want to spend some some coins on feeding this little guy. So you take a picture, but after 2 years, nobody recognizes this baby again because he has hair or whatever. So you need to get a new picture. So throughout your life, you have like 32 opportunities to change your hash. And in the blockchain will use your new hash, but will look back because of your card. It can see, okay, you got this hash, but you also had this previous hash, this previous hash, this previous hash, and it just looks which previous hash you have and uses that. So that's how it works.
Amazing. You thought of it.
Yeah.
I asked a question and you already had the answer for it. So now it's nice to hear, because of course things change in your life. Okay, so you have, but as a woman, you should be careful with painting your hair every month, because you only have 32 changes.
You shouldn't marry. You shouldn't marry 33 guys.
Yeah, also that. Yeah.
So then you have no money anymore.
Yeah, but and what if you have to pay 32 women your 1 hour coin? That's also
yeah.
Okay.
Well, there is always an opportunity, which is also it's I spent I think about 2 years. I'm not kidding. Just about this self-sovereign identity part. So to make a card, an ID card, it looks like, okay, yeah, somebody makes a card. What's so smart about that? But what people don't understand or people don't appreciate is that there's a lot of talk about self-sovereign identities. And I did quite some research. So okay, let's see which companies are providing systems for self-sovereign identities. And you have, let's say, there was initiatives in Africa where you have refugees, and then you could go to this company, and because these people don't have a passport, they needed to flee, so they left everything behind. So how do you establish and then they say, okay, so come to our company, then you can say, okay. So what they do is they take a picture, your name, but then also you need to say, okay, are you on Facebook? Then you get your Facebook account, and then you get this account. And then out of all these accounts and these photos, they sort of create a new identity. And then they say, okay, you have now a new identity, which is a self-sovereign identity, because we created this card for you now, and you can, based on that, you can go to a bank and get a bank account, for example. And that's what they call a self-sovereign identity, but it is not self-sovereign at all. You need to go to a company, and that company decides
to get it
if you can have an identity. Well, what's self-sovereign about that? There's nothing. So A self-sovereign identity is, in my opinion, you should make it like that you are the only one who decides what is your identity. And if tomorrow you say, okay, I want to leave it behind, I want to get a new identity and continue my life, you should be able to do that. Then you are a self-sovereign person. If not, then that's not self-sovereign, because then other people decide who you are, sort of.
Yeah, yeah, and once you start again, it's you that builds reputation on that identity. And the more that you commit to one identity, the more trust it will receive.
And it's a bit strange. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what can happen is and that's a bit strange. But I will tell you something. So with this OneCoin age thing, so what can happen? So I'm in a society, and let's say I'm spending, like, say, I'm lazy. Okay, so I'm just spending money. I'm spending money, and so instead of reaching my 20,000 coins, I have only 5,000 coins. Okay, because I'm spending. I'm not earning money. I'm just spending. So now what I can do is I can just throw away my identity, go to another place, go to another country, create a new identity, and then I got when it's 20 years after 1 January 2022. If it's 20 years later, then I get 20,000 coins. So by just ditching my identity and assuming a new one, I immediately gain 15,000 coins. And that looks a bit unfair. But as you say, you need to start over with creating your how you call it? You had a good
reputation.
Word for it. Let other people, your reputation, exactly, your reputation. So you need to start over again. So what will happen is people will say, okay, you don't have a history. So you have 20 years, you lived 20 years, and you didn't spend any coins.
Yeah.
And so you didn't do any transaction. You started all over again. Well, we will push you down a little. So we're not going to accept your coins immediately. So this person will have a sort of a hard time to build his reputation again. And besides that, I think money is not too important. So this 15,000 coins that he thinks to earn by doing that, nobody, let's say the economy doesn't suffer from it. Nothing suffers. That's why I sort of accept this possibility, because I think it's more important that people just can run away from, let's say they are being abused, or let's say you are in a terrible marriage and you want to run away, and you can run away, just ditch your identities, start a new identity and start over again.
Yeah, even if you think it's a good business model, go ahead and try it and live in two different communities, try being two different identities, spending double, If you get it to work, then you have earned it, in a way.
Yeah. So people, but I think the other people, they will decide how your reputation works, and that's how it should be. But that's also a really out of the box thing. We are not. We think there should be an institute, like a government, or let's say whatever. We vote on something, and that institute will decide who gets somebody's. And that's just the the perfect recipe for misery, because this institute, people will abuse it. It's very simple.
Let me add something small, and that is that I show this passport every time, and I say I'm Liberlander Yoshi Livo, and that is not for me that I say that, but a lot of people. Once you show the book, it's true, right? Because your name is in it and it's written there. So Whether I call myself Yoshi Livo or not, they need a confirmation in that book. And that's just how society works. That's what we have built over the past centuries and what we have ended up with today. And, you know, regardless of what you think of it, majority of people lives in that reality. And yeah, it's going to be, it's so far in 10 years, I've been incredibly unsuccessful in a way in changing it. But yeah. It is.
Yeah, but real freedom. People have no clue what real freedom means, I think, and it is really scary.
It takes a lot of responsibility to be free, you know.
Yeah.
And people don't want to be responsible because they just want to lose their bank account card, for example, and call their bank and have the mailman send them a new one, and that's how they prefer it today. But yeah. There has been a lot of change,
they don't.
Of course, in the last 10 years. There has been a lot of change, and the society today is a lot different. It's just that as a Bitcoin investor, it's always so difficult to be happy because the people that I care about and do these things for are losing still because they still believe in those mainstream media channels that tell them Bitcoin crashed because now it's half the price of 6 months ago, while in fact 2 years ago it was $5,000 and we went up again 600% from there. So, and we haven't breached the previous top, for example. So we are just moving up. But yeah, the confusion amongst people is too big for just me alone in a way. And I'm always glad that I didn't get corrupted so far and that I still believe at least that my Ds are my own. So, yeah, well, what to say about it? I could have been in Davos last week where the president of Liberland was talking. And, you know, maybe I would have been on his side if things would have been a little bit different. And I would have said everybody that comes into Liberland needs to have a special QR code, for example.
Yeah.
We have said a lot of things again, Teun. It's almost 2 hours that we've been talking. I don't know if there are any questions from the chat. Let's give them a couple of seconds. I do notice that our lag is increasing. So we have currently, I think, approximately 3-second delay on our conversation. And it's growing. Maybe we should call it for today. You can expect me to make another highlight video out of it, of course. I don't know if you want to add anything to the conversation yourself.
No, it's fine. And I'm very happy you want to, let's say, help me with the rolling out of this system. So that would be great.
You need a coder to implement, for example, Bluetooth functionality to this app.
Wi-Fi, not Bluetooth. Bluetooth is too slow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, but Wi-Fi, we want to go with outside of the internet, you know, so it should be device to device.
No, but it's outside. So what you do is you use your Wi-Fi antenna and you just connect to each other. Okay. A lot of people don't know that, but your Wi-Fi antenna is perfectly able to communicate with another phone.
Well, I learned something again today from you, Teun. In a way, it's been very interesting for me as well this week. It's just that there is so much sunshine around, and with my previous experiences, this is for me a little bit the end of the way. I think you know what I can offer to you. If you would be interested in something like that, then I'm very available. So
that sounds very
find
good.
Me and
we'll discuss it also.
Sure. Yeah, depending on who is in your Telegram channel, I'll be more or less active because, like I said, I don't feel reason to explain myself to anybody anymore. So
exactly.
I want to thank you for today and being here again. I thought it was a very interesting conversation. We had a lot of nice comments also in the chat. So, guys, in case you watch this on a highlight video on YouTube, your questions can always be asked. So Teun is also very available. Find him on Telegram somewhere in the links below. Or the website, of course. Let me write it down one more time. HONKcoin.org. That's where it's going down and where all the information can be found. I wish you the best, Teun. I think it's great. I hope you will finish the wallet in such a way that the communication between devices will improve. I don't have a lot of friends that code, but maybe I do have more than average. So I will see a little bit if I can help you on that level also. Yeah, I think for now the plan is clear. The idea is beautiful, and let's see in a couple of months if we can do it again. But I don't think there is need for another chat now. We have said the things we wanted to say, and let's see what time will bring us.
Very good. Yeah. It's excellent. I think so too.
At least 1 coin per
Very good.
hour,
Thank you very
right?
much.
At least 1 coin per hour.
Yeah.
So, okay, Teun.
We will be much richer the next time we
Yeah,
talk.
maybe I've spent them all because I couldn't sit on my chair and my colors were boring me, and I started to do it autonomous anyway. But we will see. We will see. I already got a couple locals that have interest in it, so I guess I can help them. But I hope I don't run into troubles because I don't know if I'm so persistent to solve them then. But we will see. We will see. Okay, Teun.
All right. Thank you very
Bye.
much. See you later.
Teun van Sandbeek, everybody. Second chat this week because 1 week ago it was the first one.